The Enfield Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency meeting for Tuesday, May 16th, 7 p.m. Can we have a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Fire evacuation procedures. If there's an emergency in the building, there's a door in the back of the room, or you can go out the door to our left and down the stairs and away from the building. Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Here.
Kevin Zorda.
Here.
Virginia Higley here. Robert Hendrickson.
Here.
Ann Collins absent. Nancy Martin absent. Phil Kober.
Here.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you. So it's 5 present. Public communications, is there anybody here that would like to speak regarding items not on the agenda? Is there anybody here want to speak on items not on the agenda? One last time. Anybody want to speak on items not on the agenda? Seeing none. Move forward. Agent correspondence. Oops. We received the note regarding the land use training for Thursday, June 1st. Make sure you RSVP by the end of May 26th. We received a letter dated May 8th from AECom regarding the vernal pool monitoring for the 3 years for Agrimart on 113 North Maple. That was something that we request. And then we had this on our desk from the state of Connecticut, the sitting council, regarding the solar panels, 99-105 and 113 Raffia Road, dated April 14th.
That's their decision. They approved it.
Thank you. Surprise. Yep. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes for May 2nd.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 2nd, 2023.
Second.
Discussion? No, see?
I just had one note on page 3. I hope that Roy Meggie did not conquer with the speaker. It's just,
Confirmed. Thank you.
As amended.
Okay, Ginny?
Second.
Okay. Roll call?
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes, as amended.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Robert Hendrickson.
yes.
Phil Kober.
Yes.
5 in favor, motion passes. And next is a town attorney report. It was an update on the DPN legal opinion. That's going to be discussed on June 1st during our training, so hopefully people
So
can come.
I actually don't know if this will be discussed in full
I was
at the
told
training.
by the attorneys they would be discussed.
I understand that.
So we'll be discussing it with the attorneys.
Yep, and basically this just gives you the update on what they've been working on, so please feel free to reference that going forward.
Next is the continued public hearings. 92 Post Office Road is continued to June 6th. There's no new public hearings. For old business, we have the determination of need for 147 Abbey Road. That was tabled to June 6th. Next is new business, agent approval. I guess they're looking for agent approval for AAA 129 23 Pierce Street. Application for the removal and fill of an in-ground pool. Jared and Rebecca Gallagher, map 54, lot 249, R33. Hi,
Good evening.
state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jared Gallagher. My address is 23 Pierce Street, Enfield, Connecticut.
Oh, great. So give us a little background, what you want to do?
Yeah, so we've been in the house for 28 years. The pool was 20 years old when we moved in. The underground lines have been replaced multiple times, and no one's swimming.
Yeah.
So right now the pool is empty. It drained itself off over the winter. Anything that was holding the cover on over the winter fell in, destroyed
Everything.
pretty much everything. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, Georgie?
Yep, so basically, as we know, there's a certain allowance for what I'm allowed to do as agent approval. However, this is an old subdivision, as many of our other subdivisions that were built before the Clean Water Act in 1972. So the pool has been there for quite some time. I'm not sure exactly when it was established. However, the wetlands in this area are most likely no longer functioning as they once were, as the rest of the neighborhood seems to be. So he applied for the agent approval just because of the circumstance where his property is in the wetlands. So he plans to remove the in-ground pool and fill it with sand and then topsoil, which is typical when people remove their in-ground pools. The way his property is set up is actually, it works out for what he wants to do because the pool is right up to the driveway. So when the truck comes in, they won't be disturbing any other areas. The site is relatively flat, so there should be no erosion runoff or any type of rainwater issues. And removing the pool actually helps his drainage on his property because it reduces the impervious coverage on his lot. So this should be a simple agent approval if the Wetlands Commission agrees.
Let's see if any discussion?
Just a question to confirm. So the pool's being removed and the desired end state is this lawn, or are you planning?
Is lawn.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Kevin? To my left, any discussion? Do I have a motion for anything? I don't see anything.
Yep. I'll make a motion to authorize agent approval for AAA number 12923 Pierce Street, application for removal and fill of an in-ground pool, Jared and Rebecca Gallagher, map 54, lot 249, R33 zone.
Second.
Okay, got a first and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Robert Hendrickson.
Yes.
Phil Kober.
Yes.
5 in favor, motion passes.
Great, thank you very much.
Good luck with your pool.
Appreciate your time.
Well, demolishing it.
Thank you.
Luck with your new lawn.
That's right. Thank you very much. Next is our enforcement reports. We have 9 Manning Road. Hi,
Hello, how are you?
good, thanks, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Could you state your name and address for the record?
We got to hit the button still? All right, basically, just as you previously recalled, I came before you for a couple of issues at the 9 Manning Road. There's going to be 2 issues I'm going to discuss real quick and give you an update. The first was the commercial vehicle that was backed into the 100 URA zone. That vehicle has since been moved out of that zone, and there's no longer any vehicles or any type of storage or otherwise in that area. The second area has to do with the very, very old truck that's been sitting in the back of the pond area roughly 40 years. I have spoken to Bosco's today. They did come out and survey the property, and they're going to be out tomorrow. They seem to think they can remove it with minimal disruption to the surrounding area and ground and whatnot. So once that is accomplished tomorrow, I'll take appropriate pictures and forward it to zoning and planning for their review. And then at that point, we're going to go ahead and just make sure that there's no other disruption to the soil and then reseed that area. And at that point, everything should be resolved.
I have a color copy of the pictures if you need a better thing to look at.
I think we're good.
Just a quick update. We did do an inspection with Mr. Lataki. Mr. Rochelle and I went out to site on the 15th at 1. So the wetlands in his backyard, they're pretty functioning. They're sustaining life, and there's frogs, all kinds of wildlife out there. The truck is definitely in the ground. Not sure if there was any liquids remaining in the truck, which Mr. Taki informed us there were none. There's also some concrete barriers, some concrete piles. He informed us that he had made the access path a little bit more stable to get back there. But essentially, there is enough room to essentially be able to remove the truck. There's enough room for him to put down plywood or whatever he needs to avoid sinking into the ground.
That's good.
So that's pretty much what we did on the 15th.
Thank you.
Do you want to see the color copies? If you need them?
Good.
Okay.
I'm good, Thank you.
No, do you-
Yeah, they're good.
Okay, cool.
Any discussion to my questions, comments? Nope, anybody? Thank you for following up and taking care of this for us. And hopefully tomorrow you'll be all done.
Yep, that's the goal. We're going to get it done one way or the other.
Right.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Did you have any?
Is there like a date that you wanted him to come back, or when the truck will be
Well,
removed?
if he does it tomorrow and sends in pictures or whatever
Okay.
you require.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay,
And if
that
Rick
works.
is satisfied with the
it?
violations taken
Okay.
care
That'd be
of,
fine.
then we're fine with it.
Yep.
Yeah, we checked the other vehicle, definitely is out of the upland review area. And just one other thing, the area around where the older truck is located is fairly dry at this point in time, so it doesn't look like any real damage can be done by the removal of it.
Perfect.
Excellent.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll have some detailed photos of the ground area too, so you
Yeah,
can make
so
your
they'll
own
have it.
observation.
For their records and stuff.
Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you
Before
very
it freezes tomorrow night.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Strange
I
weather.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Next is Yankee Castings. Excuse me. Hi.
How are you all doing?
Could you state your name and address for the record, or?
Yeah. So I'm Graham Sales. I'm at, my business, 243 Shaker Road,
Okay.
Enfield. We last spoke in February, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So I sent you the email to Georgie with the requested information at that time. I put in kind of the loose timeline. We were roughly on track with that as well. For the reclamation system, I don't know how much I need to go back over what we did back then. So the upgrades to the silt fence have been very effective, almost too effective. It's created a puddle, big puddle, which has made challenging to get on with the sort of one of the elements of the phase 2 of getting rid of the sand pile, which was to move it away from the 100-foot zone. So the sand pile over time had grown from the 100-foot clearance to the pond that was put in when the new building was constructed. So the sand pile was actually already inside the area. It's gradually kind of got a little bit closer. So the plan that we had was to wait for we put the silt fence in over the winter. We're now waiting for it to dry, and it should be good to move in probably a week or so. We're going to use a local crew to actually shift the sand pile and relocate it and reorient it until we can complete the commissioning on the equipment. So we'll move ourselves outside of that 100-foot buffer zone for the sand pile as a kind of interim protective measure for the designated wetland area. So we're, all things being square, we should be able to make that, begin doing that towards the end of this week or the start of next week. We're just waiting on that area to finish drying out so that we can actually get the bulldozer in to start moving the pile the other way. And if you look at our site map, we have more land going further backwards, which is not designated as tree line or as wetland area. So what we intend to do is stake out the actual wetland areas, protect them with the silt fencing, and then actually relocate the sand pile into the kind of more into the center of the property, and kind of sculpt it almost so that it's more of a platform that we can actually use to then take the sand and come back out. Just a couple of points to note. We continue to refer to it as hazardous waste. It's not. I don't know where that original came from, but the material is classified with an SDS is the same as beach sand, basically. It's the same material. I have a material safety data sheet for the sand that we've produced originally by the American Foundry Society, because all of this material is kind of a recommended recyclable under RCRA. So we just have to do that little bit of processing for the equipment that we're working to install right now. So we're probably going to start. It's going to be back end of August, I would think, that we're on track. And in the email when I laid out the original timeline, it was February. I was like 3 to 6 months. So I think we're just going to drift out the very end of that, because we have to do extensive commissioning and air quality testing out of the equipment to make sure that we meet the air permit. So once we've done that, we'll have pretty much missed the, I guess, groundwork season. But the sand itself will then be under RCRA and EPA. There's actually a really good FAQ, if you guys ever care to look at it, on the EPA website about the reuse of spent foundry sand. They'll tell you everything you need to know about how it can be recycled and reused, and how they recommend it should be reused and recycled. So we've got those kind of people queued up waiting. We just got to process it through the mechanical separator. Okay.
So when was the mechanical going to be ready? End
Well,
of August?
sorry.
the end of August, the mechanicals were going to?
Well, it's technically I could turn it on today.
Oh.
But there was a change to the air permit requirements. So typically these pieces of equipment, they have stack monitoring for the back plant, but only on the thermal reclamation side. So it's two halves of a piece of equipment that like feed each other. So the mechanical separator is just that. It's just mechanical. It generates a little bit of dust, but so does most industry. And a normal dust extractor is normally deemed all that was necessary. The federal, I always get them mixed up. The EPA federal guys, they said when we submitted the request to them they didn't care about it. They just wanted us to put the monitoring system onto the thermal side. When it came down a level, we were elevated to put monitoring on both, which is fine. Like, it's not a problem. It just means that I can't turn them on until both sides are up and running. And the thermal side is a lot more complex. It's got 2 sets of conveyors. It's got a silo. It's got like hundreds of feet of pipe work to transport the sand. So it's just taking longer to build it. That's really where we're at with it.
So essentially, it's done. You just have to go through testing and.
No, the mechanical side is done, but
Not the other side.
not the thermal side.
Okay, no.
And we can't run them both together. And the thermal side will take us a little while to do. There's some other unknowns that I don't have right now. Like I'm waiting for lead times on the steel that I need to erect the structure, and the cutting of that steel, which is done by a vendor. So there's a few things that may just drifted a little bit, which is why I'm not being so definite. It's like August, but
You think by August?
I'm hoping by August. Yeah, I mean, we can talk later. I'm
Excuse
sure.
me, real quick. I just want to go back to something that you said, if I may. You said that you're going to move the pile and do something in the back of the property.
Yeah. So
What was it that you were planning on doing? Because there
So-
are wetlands and a brook in the back.
There are, yeah. So what I was going to do is when we've got it mapped out, I actually tried to fly my drone up there to take some pictures so I could send them to you to say this is where we're going to move it, but there's a big cell phone mast and it was just like, no, I ain't flying. So I got to find another way of getting a picture to you. So I'm going to mark it out on the site map that we have. We have where the pile is, we do have enough space to stay the 100-foot clearance from the brook and everything else. And because the pile itself is really like long and thin and it's too far left and right, and we need to kind of chop about 30 or 40 feet off one end of it and kind of put it behind it, and there is enough space when because I went back and played with all the ticks, but there is plenty of space to like mark it all out.
So the one comment I would interject, and I don't know if you're planning, is obviously if there are wetlands there, to probably get it like professionally delineated, not just photographs.
We had a professional because originally there was plans made to build another building back there. When back in 2016, when there was the fire that took out the main building, there was 2 kind of plans. One was to extend the main building to rebuild it, and the other was to put a building 2 behind. And at that point, they did the survey of the wetlands. So we have a survey
Okay.
from.
So I was just going to say, if that hasn't been sent to staff, if you could make a point just to send it so they could share
Yes.
it with us.
Yeah.
And the other
Well,
thing-
you guys sent it back to me, so I assume that you
Okay.
got it. Yeah.
And the other thing is, because I believe that's freshwater brook, so just to make sure the upland review area for that, if it is freshwater, is 200 feet away,
Yeah.
not just 100. So that may also affect your plans regarding,
Yeah,
how far you offset it.
Can I show you? I have the map here that has the things. But
sure. Yeah, well, we can pass it
Yeah.
around.
I don't think this chart back. This is on the actual enforcement report, so.
Okay, yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have.
It flows into freshwater.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was looking for, the
Yeah.
back end. Yeah,
So there's our wetlands line, and there's the actual barriers
Small.
on our
Okay.
So as it is right now, it kind of comes into this area over here, right, which is where our current silt fence is. And over time, weather and erosion, it's going to move that way. So what I'm going to do is cut all of that 100-foot corner off and just move it back into this space here.
Okay, no, that's fine, yeah, we have the same map.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm saying I hope to kind of break ground or break sand on that, like this week. We'll see what the weather does, but and the availability of the equipment. They have another project to finish, and then they're coming to do us. So
If I can make a suggestion?
Yes, please.
This This has been going on since 2013, actually.
Yeah.
And I really think before anything's done over there, that we get a formal plan in.
Yeah.
You don't touch anything or move anything until a formal plan's submitted, an application submitted for the project, which would include.
Application to move it
Well,
on
hold
the
on, hold on,
land,
hold on one second, please. So that would also include the
Should get it.
not the pond that has to be. The pond is basically not functional right now because it's full of silt. And it's flowing out into, any overflow is flowing out into the storm drain in the street. And we don't know what's in there. You mentioned hazardous material. The last information we have is from Deep, and that the sand pile contained hazardous metals and materials. Until we get something from Deep, that's what we're acting on. So
So Deep in EPA, what is the difference?
Deep is Department of Environmental
State agency.
Yeah, see.
Protection
Which one's
in
the
the state of
state?
Connecticut.
Deep is state.
Deep is
So
state.
the feds say it's fine and Deep say it's not. That's how it is. I'm just trying to understand. Like I don't.
Well, the other people that have been at Yankee Castings for the past 15 years know what Deep is because of the violations and fines that were instilled upon them because of the previous violations. So until the issue of what's harmful, what's hazardous, and what can be removed, I think you need to provide testing and a mitigation for the
I can
the
provide
pond.
you that report. We have that. It's about
Not your report.
400
It's
no,
going to,
no,
it's going to have to be tested and supplied to us and to the board
Yeah.
to ensure that it's not hazardous, including what's already gone into that pond, detention pond.
Okay. So we have that report. Like I say, that report was done. We have a testing report. It's like 400 pages of testing.
From who?
It was a third-party contractor that we brought in that did all of the soil sampling and testing.
So they'll need a copy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get you guys a copy for sure.
Everything should come in with an application for the
Yes.
project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we need that.
We don't want to do it piecemeal. Everything has to come in at the same time.
So I just understand I need an application to move the sand on the different part of the land.
Yeah,
How do I do that?
she'll help you.
We'll give you a form. We have an application, and we have directions on what's going to be required.
Yeah.
No worries.
Graham,
So we have a plan of what's
So I
going.
guess I cancel my guys and we wait.
So send me an email, we'll make an appointment, I'll help you fill out an application. But basically what they mean is you're gonna need a site plan, because you can't just move it without having a plan showing us where you're moving it, because there is the freshwater brook in the back. It's a 200-foot upland review area, not 100. And any reports you have, depending on the year, you might need confirmation from the from the State Department, from DEEP, okay?
Okay.
And I'll help
We send the
you.
report to Deep like once a month with this. With
Okay,
the sand pile.
that's fine. If you have that, we'll talk about that when you come in for the application, okay?
Okay.
All right.
I'll email you tomorrow.
Yes, email me.
Sounds good.
All right, we all set?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you. She'll be back.
Yeah, sure. I want to get rid of it. You know?
Next is 1700 King Street. Yeah. Yeah. That's. Hi, could you state
Hi.
your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Kenan Carballo, 1700 King Street.
Okay, hi.
I'm Miriam Carvalho.
Hi, hey.
So basically, long story short, my parents are getting a divorce, and I don't know what's going on with this whole thing that my dad got into, but we're just trying to do the correct thing and try to fix it. I know that we have to take some stuff that was where our new property line is or where it ends. So I did take the silk fence out, and I did end up moving all of the stuff there, and I just have to move the truck back, and then that's pretty much it.
Can I ask a quick question? So the first violation, Ignacio's brother helped him out, Will?
Yes.
Is he helping you now with this one?
There is no communication between us. The
Okay.
only communication is between her lawyers
Okay.
and my dad's lawyers.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Okay, so basically way back when the first violation came out, Ignacio had some debris falling into the brook onto the adjacent property. So he had removed it, he cleared out all debris and everything was good, and now there's more debris, which Mr. Rochelli can give more detail on. That's just a quick background.
Okay.
So I went out and I checked today again. As far as I can tell, the silt fence has been removed. The lumber and trees that were in the escarpment area have been removed from there. There's just a trailer sitting there now. So as far as I know, everything's been moved out except for that trailer. It seemed cleared out as much as possible at this point in time. And I think they're pretty much good to go. It's just that after a year, we were supposed to get an update for the board.
We were supposed to get like an as-built, and the last I heard from William Carballo was that was in progress, and I haven't heard anything since, and that was back in early February.
Yeah, he came.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where that stands now or how that condition's going to pan out.
So there was no communication between us at the time? Oh. So I don't know what was going on, what needed to be done, but as of now, I'm trying to do it correctly how it's supposed to
What does he
be.
need to do for you?
So the trailer, I will move it. We just moved it there to the side because there's a lot of trash because my dad had a bunch of stuff, as you can tell. So we were just like throwing stuff out and we didn't have a room, but I will move it and get everything out of the way. My truck is in the way of it's a little over the thing. I could just move it back and then there would be nothing there, so.
So at this point in time, what you're going to have to do is find a surveyor.
Everything came off.
Locate a surveyor for the property to survey to make sure that everything is off of the abutting property and that there's no more materials there, and an as-built that will show the actual property lines. Because I know you've moved the fence back, but we don't know for sure right now if that's actually on your property or if it's still on the abutting property.
So basically, you're going to have to just finish the permit from when the violation was active. And if you want to come to the office later this week or tomorrow, I'll be happy to show you the permit, what the conditions were, and what you're essentially taking over.
Okay.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking over, and we understand, that you weren't involved in the beginning, so, they'll more than happy to help you out and kind of guide you in the right direction. So.
Alrighty.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Can you give me 1 second before you leave? Okay, never mind. You're good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Moving along. Next is 38 Post Office Road. Hello. Just state your name and address for the records, please. Thank you. Oops. Oh, well.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
For the record, Dana Steele. I'm a professional engineer with
Dana, hold on 1
Just going
second.
to give you a,
I was wondering where that went.
yeah.
But for the record, again, Dana Steele, professional engineer with J.R. Russo and Associates. We're back here after we were here about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. There was a violation of clearing within a regulated area at the property, which is at the rear of 38 Post Office Road. It actually doesn't have an address. I think it's been being referring to it that way. Simply, it's the nearest address. And at the time, we didn't have any maps or anything to really define what was out there. We had worked with George Logan from REMA Ecological Services to flag the wetlands, and he was in the process of completing that work when we were last meeting with you. So we didn't have a lot to present to you at that time, and we asked for some more time to be able to put that together. And so George has finished flagging the wetlands, and we've delineated them on our survey and produced this map. The map that I submitted to Georgie and that was probably distributed to you, is kind of shows everything together. And one of Georgie's initial comments was, can you give me an existing conditions that just shows what the way things are now? So that's what I have here, is just cleaned up a little bit, and just to explain to you what the areas that we're working with. So Mark Spazzarini, who represents St. Thomas Realty Associates, the owner of the property. He owns Spazzarini Construction, which is at 38 Post Office Road, and that is to the north here of the plan, the top of the plan. And so he came in. You can see the clearing limits now here. This is the area that was cleared down to here, and then along the eastern side, and then curving back up to the existing business in the front to the north. So at the time, he didn't have a wetland delineation, know where the wetlands were. The town wetlands map, which is shows a wetland line here in pink, did show a finger that was coming in, which is kind of similar to what George has delineated, though it's larger than what George had delineated. But all of this that George delineated was not shown as wetlands on your map. Now, you look at the map, the line goes right through a pond. So obviously it's questionable its accuracy, but basically when we talked before, we thought there was probably some wetlands disturbance, really thinking more about this area. But then when we went out and located, we realized, oh, there's a lot more than we anticipated. So everything that you see here in light orange is the area that's been disturbed. So there's a small finger here, and then a much larger area to the south. The yellow line is the 100-foot regulated area. Within that area are these piles throughout the site. When he went in and cleared, removed stumps and debris and brush, and then piled them up. And his intention was to chip it and then haul it away. And so, but when we got word from the town that he was doing things he wasn't supposed to do without a permit, everything came to a stop. So he hasn't worked on the site since that time. He'd like to remove those piles, but until we get permission, we're not doing anything. So that's where we are. We know we're going to probably have to come back to you for an application, and maybe that's the next step. We'll look to you for guidance on what you'd like us to do next. So this is the existing conditions, what it looks like, and what we submitted to you was a proposed grading plan, because the question is, well, why was he in there? What is his end game? What's the objective here? And so that's what the plan that we submitted to you is intending to show. And so what we've done is we've put together a conceptual grading plan of ultimately where he would like the site to go, and that is to raise the site up and slope everything towards a new stormwater basin in the area between the two wetlands. And to do that, there will some of the disturbance would be proposed as part of an application. We're not asking for you to approve this tonight. This is informational, just to show you what they would like to do. Would be these orange areas would be permanent disturbance, and as mitigation for that, we would propose some wetland creation along the. So all this area to the south that was disturbed would all be restored, and then it would be expanded as well in these gray areas to provide more than a 2-to-1 ratio of new wetland versus lost wetlands. So that's the basic configuration. The use would be for material processing, screening of material, separating out the size of stones to sell it as a product. So it would be a gravel or probably millings
more road
surface.
gravel and
Stuff, yes.
road gravel and maybe some millings for a hard compact service in this area, all draining to a stormwater pond for treatment. So before it goes to the wetlands, there would be treatment. So that's what we'd like to present to you as in an application. Obviously, there's a number of things that need to be included in a full application that we haven't done yet. We acknowledge that, but we wanted, I know you didn't want us to take forever to get this to you. We try to get to you as soon as we had something to show you, and we'll see where we want to go from there. Would you like to hear from George a little bit to talk about the wetlands and what our plans are for that? Anything you feel I missed, George, that needs to be said?
If I don't say something, he's not going to pay me. So, yeah, my bad, because it took me a little longer than I anticipated to finish the delineation. Obviously, when I first got out there, I was a little dumbfounded and surprised that there was actually a wetland there that didn't show up on any map. And the other thing that I noticed is looking at some old aerial photographs, even if you go back to, say, I don't know, the 90s, the 2000s, that was a field. Most of it was a field, and then it was kind of let go. So it took me a little while to do the delineation. The soils are a little tricky there. There's like the difference between a wetland and an upland is about this much. And the other thing I wanted to do was to see if there were any vernal pools. Okay, I hit the button by mistake. Well, it knows me, and so it took it off. So there's the pond to the north. That's a man-made. It's very shallow. It's almost like a marsh. So there was nothing in there. The bigger pond that you see in blue, there that has that little squiggle thing. We had green frogs in there. We had some other things, but nothing, no vernal pool obligates. Then just off the map to the south is another potential vernal pool that I investigated. It's more of a buttonbush swamp. Nothing in there. My suspicion is that there is a vernal pool, but it's off-site to the property to the south. Because I did see a wood frog, just one. Someone popped it there. Anyway, so the thing that, one thing that we might want to discuss tonight is, do we need to do, or should we do anything between now and bringing the application before this commission? So obviously the wetland right now is actually starting to restore itself. I was there, when was I there? Saturday, yeah. And so I wanted to kind of take a look and see what's going on. Portion of it, and that's closer to the highway, that little part, maybe a third of that, is really popping up with all kinds of stuff, including some invasives, which I'll discuss, which were there already, obviously. Glossy buckthorn, one of my favorites. So I'm seeing a trend of things that are coming back. A lot of kind of what I expected was there before, like silky dogwood, like a lot of sensitive fern, some of the smartweeds, things like that. So what I want to do before I put a full restoration plan together is to see what's going to pop up by July, because by then I'll have everything that's going to pop up. But in the meantime, what I'm thinking of, thankfully that's flat, that area is flat, so nothing's going anywhere. And the wood chip berm that was erected there, if you want to see what wood chip berms do, go take at the site, because nothing goes through it. Absolutely nothing. I mean, the silt fence is there. It's almost perfunctory just to kind of tell us there's something there that's a little more solid, but it's the wood chip berm that doesn't let anything go through. And it's flat, so that's good. So maybe the thing to do now is to, we have, you probably heard the New England roadside matrix restoration seed mix for moist places. That's one of those seed mixes. What it does, apart from having forbs and grasses and sedges and things like that, it also has seeds of arrowwood, gray dogwood, and silky dogwood, I believe. So some of that could start popping up. So my thought is, we take that seed mix, we don't have to go nuts here, so we could do it at half, 50%. Infuse it with some annual ryegrass, which will be here today and gone tomorrow, and just broadcast it while we're doing the application, if that's okay with the commission, so that we can get, and the reason for that is stabilization, not that I think anything bad's going to happen, but also that will give us a little bit of a foothold towards getting the invasives not to start popping up. So it will be easier. There are going to be invasives coming up, but there will be less of them if we start populating with other things that kind of take over. So that will be my only recommendation at this point.
Excuse me, Ms. Chair. I really must recommend, I understand the situation that Mr. Logan has described, but nothing should really be continuing until they submit a formal application with their plan. They could potentially submit this week or next week and be heard in early July. So I don't really anticipate much change out there considering the current situation. I also had a question for Dana Steele. On the existing sheet towards the north corner, isn't there currently construction materials sitting on site towards the left?
Towards the left?
It's west side towards the highway. There's some culverts, I think cement pipes and culverts that are being stored over there. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
So,
Where are those, Mark?
Right at the edge.
so if you intend to keep those there, those should ideally be on the plan as well.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't aware they were there. I don't know if our surveyors did.
We did see them when we met on site in December.
Jobs and it comes and goes, you know?
Right,
Yep.
so it doesn't,
Technically, the lots are still separated and in a different zone, so storage isn't even allowed in that zone just yet. The other thing is, we did also observe them when we met together on site in December. I just think to be safe and to move forward, they should submit an application before doing anything. That way we know exactly what they're doing and where.
I think as part of a violation, you can order us to do restorative work while we put an application in.
yeah, I don't have a problem with the seating.
Yeah, I mean, broadcast seed, but no grading or anything.
Yeah, no grading.
Yeah,
Yeah, no grading. Hand raking possibly, but that's about it.
yeah.
Do you want the piles to remain until,
Yeah, I would not move any of
Touch the
those
piles?
before there's an application.
Yeah.
Because the proposal here, you're raising it, this grade pretty high, 4 feet
yeah,
or
well,
so.
that, we wouldn't be doing that, for sure.
Yeah.
This
6
is just
feet.
broadcasting seed, and we
Yeah.
could remove the piles, and then we could broadcast the seed there, too, but if the piles are there, we can't broadcast.
Do you mind putting together like a little plan where your restoration will be, just to show us where? And then if you wouldn't mind contacting me, I'd love to meet you on site, just so you could show me those invasives and just to clarify the ponds and the life there, and then we can go on from there.
Absolutely, yeah. My guess is that we will do the wetlands and maybe a little strip along the wetland edge.
That'd be a good idea.
That'd be good, yeah.
So do you have an anticipated time frame for the restoration that you would want to start it?
Well, it's going to take them a few days to order the seed mix.
Of course.
So I'd say sometime next week.
Okay, and then in regards to like a quick inspection, do you have a certain date or time that works best for you guys?
Monday, Wednesday, or Fridays.
Okay, how about like Monday at 1?
Monday at 1, it is.
Hang on, give me 1 second. Let me
Someone's
just
gonna
double
remind
check.
I just have a quick question in the meantime, Dana. When I was out there taking the last set of pictures, it looked like there was a drainage ditch that ran from east to west, just about along the property line.
Yes, there is.
Okay. Is there any plans to, I think he was thinking about putting a culvert in there to kind of protect it from,
Yes, I didn't show that on the plan yet, but
okay.
we come in with an application, we're going to need to show what's going on to the north here and how it interacts with what's being proposed. So the thought was to put in a longer culvert and fill the ditch in.
Okay. I just didn't see it on the plans that you submitted, and when I was out there, it was running pretty
Something we need
good.
to add.
Okay, all right, good.
That'd be part of the application.
Yeah.
It will be, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in concurrence too. I think an application would solve the violation. I know we talked about the mitigation, but do you guys have a timeline for the application? A couple months or?
I wanted
as soon as possible.
I think they said July. I think they said
So,
July.
George, we need your report.
I'm out of here. I'm not going to be around in June. I'll be across the puddle. So it depends on how quickly the plans can be put. I mean, one report that I can do tomorrow, so to speak, is the wetland delineation, soil exploration report. But as far as supporting the rest of
We
it,
need a planting plan for the
Yes.
mitigation.
Yeah.
We're going to need, notes on how that, so what
Right.
do you think in terms of getting that together? Because I don't mean to throw you under, or put it all on you, but I will try to, work with whatever schedule you can.
I mean, what's your schedule? What does your schedule look like?
Well, I mean, we've done the survey, so I have to do a storm drainage design and a drainage report for this to show compliance with the stormwater design standards. So I would say we could put that together in probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
So why don't we say this? So I'm leaving for Europe on the 11th.
Oh, nice.
So let me do that before I leave,
Okay.
so that can it be accepted. Then we'll probably miss one, and then I'll be back June 28th. So we'll be able to do the next meeting, whenever that is.
So that would be,
That's like the first meeting in July.
1st July, yeah.
Okay.
you meet June 6th and the 20th.
Right.
So
So you could be received on June 20th and then heard in the first meeting in July if you'd like.
would
Yeah.
that work for everybody?
And that will give me a little more information as what's popping up.
Yep. And then on Monday, May 22nd, we'll be out there at 1 to meet with you guys or whoever will be there.
My secretary will tell me that, right, Dana?
So that means submit on the 19th? By June 19th?
So submission.
Or do you want it like a week in advance?
No, June 19th should be fine.
Yeah, I'll do that before I leave. And
Yeah, then the 20th we receive it.
Do you think, if possible, to just, I'm thinking of other departments as well, do you think if you could maybe submit by at least June 12th, would that work
say
for
that.
you?
that's Monday.
June,
Monday the
to
12th?
submit an application?
If George has his reports before he leaves, then
I mean,
I don't see why not.
I don't have to write a tome. I can, be,
I mean, it should be fairly simple since you finished your
simple, yeah.
delineation and you seem to know what's out there already. So, and that's an adequate amount of time, I'd say.
Yeah.
So June 12th to submit to our office and then be received on June 20th, heard on July, was it 4th?
No.
Oh, not
the
4th.
Oh, it's the
18th.
Yep, that
So
one.
you just skip that one? Yeah. So it wouldn't be till the July 18th.
that's perfect. I won't have jet lag.
When is the celebration this year?
The 4th is a Tuesday.
We could always come on the 4th and hold it outside.
So,
Just kidding.
so other than the seating, there's nothing else you want us to do at this point? Just get our application in as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll have something to
Review.
review on July 18th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Monday at
1 o'clock.
1. I say it 3 times, Matilda, remember?
I sent you a meeting invite.
Okay, thanks.
So you seem really busy, Mr. Logan. Yeah. Because we had that property down the street he could have helped us with. Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah. Thank you for
Moving
coming.
on.
Next is a report of planning staff.
Well, I was going to report on ACOM, but you already did that, so I have nothing to report.
Okay. New applications to be received. We have IW 680, 7 Betty Road, application for an in-ground pool. Nadia Wright, applicant, James Terry and Leanna O'Neill, owners, map 62, lot 37, R33. Then we have 681, IW 681, 10 Patricia Circle. Let me see what that says. Read it off of here, it's easier. Application for an in-ground pool, Nadia Wright, applicant. James and Jenna Herrick, owners, map 70, lot 66, R88 zone.
They both have the same applicant?
Yeah.
Oh, Pool,
Manning
okay,
Pools,
yeah,
Pools.
okay,
She's their representative from Giuliano's
Yeah,
Pools.
Yeah, yeah. I did notice the shed is missing.
Nope, they're not doing the shed, just the pool.
IW 682, 25 First Avenue, application for the development of a single-family house. Joseph and Anne Marie Klimek, owners,
Klimek.
map 36, lot 321, R33 zone.
We have one more being received tonight, too. We have IW 683, 7 Lois Lane, an application for a pool deck. David Rustic, applicant owner, map 53, lot 368, R33 zone.
Where was that?
7 Lois Lane, old subdivision built on wetlands. He would like to expand the deck on the pool.
Okay.
If you have any questions about the First Ave application, I can't address them, but I know you're just receiving it tonight.
Yeah, so we won't question it till next time. Sorry. Thank you. Anything for miscellaneous?
not for me.
So the only question that's probably tied into the public hearing, did we get confirmation if someone's going out there for that adjacent property? Or is that tied into why we continued it?
The applicant soil scientist is doing it, but I recommend not discussing anything without the applicant present. So we'll.
No, that's fine, but just that it
We
is
wanted to
moving
know
along.
that it's moving along, yeah.
Yep.
I
So
agree.
we're not going to discuss it until June 6th.
Yeah. It's unfortunate the other four weren't available. So anything else under miscellaneous?
That's it.
Adjourn, yep.
We ready? I move to adjourn.
Second.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned and it's, what time is it? 7:51.
7:51.
51.